So, hello everyone, my name is Mohit Sharma. I'm a B.Tech in Mineral Engineering from IIT in Dhanbad. I graduated in the year 2019, and since then I've been working with Tata Steel as manager operation at a coal preparation plant.
First reaction when you actually saw the 710 on the screen?
So, a big sigh of relief. Something
Yes.
happened off my chest. I wasn't test ready back when I attempted my first. And the biggest pressure point for me was RC because I was taking too long to read through those RC passages. The platform, it was giving me such good feedbacks in terms of detailed analysis of my each section attempt. I saw a drastic decline in my tough time in SC and then in CR. And the PACE platform, it was really helpful for me. Now, any time of the day, if I appear for quant section on GMAT, I'm really confident I can go for a 50-51.
Hello everyone and welcome to another success story of e-GMAT. Today we have with us Mohit, who scored a beautiful 710 with a 70-point improvement and recently also got an admit to ISB Hyderabad. So welcome Mohit and thank you for joining in today.
Thanks a lot, Abba, for having me with you today.
So Mohit, why don't you give us a little bit introduction about yourself and your background?
Sure. So, hello everyone, my name is Mohit Sharma. I'm a B.Tech in Mineral Engineering from IIT in Dhanbad. I graduated in the year 2019, and since then I've been working with Tata Steel as manager operation at a coal preparation plant in Dhanbad. And I'm a sports enthusiast. I love playing racket sports a lot. I wish to be a business leader in business and sports industry and have decided to go for my MBA to develop the core skills regarding the same. And as Abba mentioned, I recently got an admit to ISB Hyderabad in R3. So that's a bit about me.
That's great. That's great. So Mohit, when did you actually start preparing for your GMAT? And yeah.
Yeah. The seeds of GMAT were incepted long back in my college final year. Senior of mine, uh, he just was done with his GMAT, and he was also using e-GMAT back then. And that's when I learned about the future. We all have heard about MBA and CAT exams were there, but this was something that was different to me, and the adaptive aspect did motivate me. It was something different, and
Yes.
that's when it started. But I serious preparation started for me almost a year back to my the 17th attempt. So it was a long journey for me in
Yeah.
that.
Okay. Okay. So Mohit, I recollect when you wrote to us, you had already given your first attempt, right? Where
Yeah.
you had scored a 640 with a V28 and a Q49, right? So considerably, it was very clear that verbal was an area of concern at that point for you, right?
Mhm.
So when you started your preparations, how did you go about doing the preparations? What were the sources that you were using, and what were the techniques that you were using back then for verbal?
Okay. So it might sound different, but I was using e-GMAT only back then as well,
Okay.
and but I was using it the wrong way. So that is the case that could be. Uh, I'll go about explaining, but I used e-GMAT, and then there was GMAT Club.
Hmm.
These two were the primary resources that I had my hands on.
Hmm. Okay. So when you said that, you took that attempt, you wrote to us, you needed help, right? And that's when we also interfered as a team and started guiding you on how we can move forward,
Mhm.
right?
Right.
So what was this difference during this first attempt and the second attempt that really made that jump for you possible?
Right. So there were two to three things. I'll mention them. First, I wasn't test ready back
Hmm.
when I attempted my first go at first go. Uh, I didn't prepare enough. Second thing, uh,
Hmm.
there was this thing called cementing that you are very particular about at EasyMat. I didn't do those steps
Hmm.
properly.
Hmm.
I had a deadline of sort, and I just went about. Uh, giving the exam without being properly ready.
Hmm.
Third, uh, the entire process that e-GMAT promotes. I again didn't go along that building my abilities in the right manner. That
Hmm.
was something I had to suffer because of in my first attempt.
Yeah.
So
Yeah, I think many students fall in this pressure of deadline and they do give an exam before they are actually ready, right? And that sometimes does not yield to the results that you're expecting, right?
Right.
So the first attempt is done, then we start with a structured approach for you, right? We start sharing the plans with you and you start following them diligently as well, right? So when we talk about verbal, let's start from SC itself, right? So what was the method that you followed here and how did you go about approaching the course this time? Because you clearly mentioned previously you had the course in hand, but there was something that you were doing wrong, right?
Right.
So let's start from verbal subsection by subsection. So, what made it different this time for you?
This time, primarily, I really absorbed what Pyle again reaffirms throughout the course, that meaning is the core concept that help you go through these questions.
Hmm.
I did a really thorough uh, due diligence through master comprehension course,
Hmm.
and thereafter, once I was knowing how what I'm reading, I could
Yeah.
really implement those things while solving the sentence correction questions. And again, the meaning aspect came directly to me. Uh, I was applying the right steps, the uh, cross checks that have been deployed by e-GMAT process,
Yeah.
as well as solving it from first from the meaning point of view, then from the grammar point of view. Unlike last time, where I just was having a set of grammatical rules in my mind, and those were not always helpful when multiple questions were grammatically right, but meaning wise, I just faltered again and again. So
Yes.
this was a change for me.
Yeah. And what about CR and RC?
Well, CR, I'll just go about CR first. In the first attempt, under time pressure, this quite a great divide of each and every statement in an
Hmm.
argument that is being promoted by e-GMAT. I did falter and I wasn't able to apply those things.
Hmm.
So once you apply those things, you can see the great flow of statements in an argument, and that's where you see the gaps and apply those pre-thinking techniques to get to those ultimate assumptions that are the base for any of the questions that a
Yeah.
CR is made above. So this time, since I was able to read sentences properly, I
Hmm.
was able to bifurcate them according to the things they describe and reach the correct assumptions and hence the correct answer in a better manner.
Okay. Okay. So let's address the elephant in the room. Like at some point, you had the concepts clear. I think it was more about the processes refining, right? But you had also written to us saying that timing was always an issue for you, right? You were able to solve the questions, you were getting to a certain accuracy, but you were not able to complete the entire set of questions because you were taking more time, right? So how did this timing actually reduce with you?
Right. Again, as I went about cementing in the right manner, I was taking less time the things were always there for me, but I was
Mm.
not applying in a process step by step manner, which
Yeah.
you also told me to follow moving ahead. And
Mm.
I saw a drastic decline in my tough time in SC
Mm.
and then in CR. And the biggest pressure point for me was RC because I was taking too long to read through those RC passages. I
Mm.
first thought that I had to read very carefully each and everything so that while I reach the question, I'm have all the information. But that's not the way RC has to be read.
Yeah.
There are some proper steps that are being taught there at the course, and I reduced my task time from 7 minutes for the first RC question to almost 5 minutes because of these very structured processes that were forwarded in the course.
Mm.
And ultimately, I had to learn how to let go of questions which I was having. That was not. I'm not something where I feel like I need to be perfectionist. I need to do each and every question.
Yeah.
It's not something that GMAT is testing as such. It's testing
Mm.
something much more than that.
Yes.
So
Yeah.
yeah,
So I think many students, have this problem of just letting go of questions, right? Specifically, when you have a certain kind of ability, you tend to believe that and question yourself, why aren't you able to solve a question, right? But the GMAT exam is like that, the better you keep performing, the difficulty will keep on improving and increasing, right? So you mentioned cementing a lot of times, right? You mentioned that you missed cementing previously and this time you were able to do cementing, right? So what is this entire process and how did it enable you to perform better on the GMAT or the test date?
Yeah. So there is in cementing there are subsections. So we did merge two or three subsections, and we were having mocks, and
Yeah.
the simulations were very similar under very pressure condition, real time experience. So I was able to go through this and feel a less, bit less pressurized while I was attempting the exam this time.
Hmm. Hmm.
There's this jump off from an SC question to a CR question to a RC question. So this entire synchronization was a bit better for me because of
Hmm.
cement.
Hmm.
And I was also conscious of the amount of time I was spending. I knew which were my strength points and which were my weak ones. So
Yeah.
accordingly, I was conscious of the time I was spending on those questions. So cementing this way has definitely landed
It
me in a
helped.
better than previously.
Yeah, it helped you actually prepare for the higher difficulty level questions, right?
True.
Yes. Yeah. And, when we go through from subsection to subsection, right, it does become very overwhelming because you have a lot of information coming your way, right? So, what was your source? Were you maintaining error logs or notes while going through the subsections?
Of course, one of the major changes I forgot to mention was the error log concept.
Hmm.
I did mention maintain an error log previously also, but it was not according to the structure that there was there, like e-GMAT thing. Uh,
Hmm.
you need to know what error you're making, and
Yep.
you need to know why did you choose that wrong choice, and why did you let go of the correct one, and
Hmm.
be as diligent and uh, dive deep into those errors, because they are the ones that are taking a lot of your time ultimately, and
Yes.
there's no point of going back and forth. Unlike IIT in GMAT, I learned how to give an exam. So
Yeah.
uh, by maintaining those error logs, and because it has to be perfection, because it's an adaptive test, it never even serve you those hard questions if you don't get the medium ones right, right?
True.
So
True.
this was something differentiator, and error logs were super helpful for me. I maintained error logs for all my subsections, so it was amazing concept.
Okay, okay. And for quants, you were already at a Q49, right? When you had reached the Q49 and you've done the entire quant course, right? So did that help you in any way to identify your weaker sections, or how did you go about approaching your quant section here?
Yeah. I used to be skeptic. Like I feel like I'm an engineer, so I'm good with math, so I should be naturally able to do it. But many times I wasn't able to break through that 49 barrier.
Hmm.
Reasons to that. It's ultimately knowing the constraints properly. As
Hmm.
deliberate and conscious that you are with the constraints, the better you are able to do that math. And the PACE platform, it was really helpful for me uh, because even if I even if I was getting the answers right, the timelines where I was getting spending more time than the average students, the median time range of the students, it was
Yeah.
describing me that thing. So
Yeah.
I made a note of those key properties that I was not applying the right because of
Hmm.
the
Hmm.
timing was increasing.
Yeah.
And once I was done through that, it was really natural for me to jump from 49 to 50 or 51 during the
Yes.
month or in the official test as well. So
Yes.
you have your arsenal of properties, and you just handpick on them and apply. And it was really helpful to go through the entire course, even if I was skeptic about it, but it did deliver me. Now, any time of the day, if I appear for a quant section on GMAT, I'm really confident I can go for a 50-51. Yeah.
Yep, that's great. That's great. So, once you were done, Mohit, with the course, right? Once we are done with the improvement plan, we know that you are hitting certain abilities because it's visible on your scholaranium platform, like you said, while doing the cementing, right? So now we move to the mocks. Now you have taken quite a few number of mocks before your attempt, right? Yes. So, what is the actual number? Because this is something that everyone, wants to know about. That how many mocks is too many mocks, or how many mocks is good enough for you to before going for your exam, right? So, do you recall how many mocks you took, and how did you approach your mocks?
Okay. So I'll give a really honest answer. First time during the first attempt, I was short on deadline. So
Yeah.
I took almost 10 to 15 marks that time because
Mm.
I was most for my way to prepare for it.
Yeah.
And however much I scored in those mocks, in the actual GMAT, I did not perform to my abilities because
Mm.
ultimately I was training my brain to do things the wrong way because it didn't
Mm.
work out ultimately. I was not even able to break that 700 barrier during the earlier mocks.
Yeah.
But this time, when I was applying everything, I just was in need of those 5 marks, and that e-GMAT already has, and they were more than enough for me. I was very particular not even to go for another mock because I could really see those trends, and uh,
Yes.
I was it was very similar to what my actual GMAT score ultimately landed on plus minus 20 points. But
Mm.
those mocks are really accurate that e-GMAT did provide. And the most beautiful part was you and the platform. It was giving me such good feedbacks in terms of detailed analysis of my
Mm.
each section attempt and the videos that we were making and sending it to me, breaking down my mock for me. They were really helpful. The tips were really helpful. I remember on my last mock, you told me to let go of like the nerves may rise, but you should be able and comfortable. And you wrote to me around 6:30 a.m. in the morning. I remember this, and I was really happy because I can see that you all and the entire team is putting their efforts into the process,
Yeah.
and I could acknowledge it from my end throughout the journey.
Yeah.
So that's beautiful for me this time. Yeah.
Yes, yes. So, when you enter the mock stage, right? When do you actually start taking the mock? Like you have taken mocks before, so this time you completed the course and you started feeling your abilities were right. That's when you started taking the mocks this time
Yeah.
in the
I
event.
I did complete cement the processes and the
Yeah.
ability to a certain level, and then I was constantly in touch with you
Yes.
at the part. And once you gave me a heads up, then okay, you should go ahead and go for the mock. I was ready for it. I was writing those mocks, and there was of course certain gap between the time of my mock attempt, which was necessary because I need to delve into again the mistakes that I was making, and need to put corrective actions for those mistakes. And
Yep.
those suggestions and plans were also suggested by you. So these things were really helpful, and yeah, finally I achieved where I wanted to, somewhere close to it.
Yes, yes, yes. So Mohit, let's talk about when to book the exam, right? Because this is also a very well asked question. Like, how do you know you are completely prepared? So when did you actually decide that okay, it's time that I'm at a certain level and I should go ahead and book the exam? And how soon? Like, how soon do you book an exam?
Okay. So once you have started being seeing those trends, like 2 to 3 data points of scores across 2 to 3 marks,
Mm.
where you're reaching your targets, just another 5 to 10 days interval would
Yep.
be sufficient because you're already in that uh, like
Momentum. Yeah.
momentum and zone, I'll say,
Yeah.
which you mentioned. You're in the zone, and you just need to book it. Then don't double think about it because you're
Mm.
there. I was also scoring for me it was 740, 750. It was good enough, and
Mm.
I just booked in another next 5 days, and it was you just like need not worry. It's just another mock experience. Take it that way, and
Mm. Very yeah.
yeah, those 5 to 10 days interval is the prime period for you. Just be there.
Okay. Okay. And what about the last 2 days before the test, right? Because that's when, the anxiety kicks in. You start becoming nervous because anyone would be. You are writing an exam which is highly competitive. right? So how did you calm down your nerves, or what did you do in the last 2 to 3 days before the exam?
Uh, again, I just booked my tickets to the center. I had to. It was a bit far from the city I was at.
Yes. Yeah.
Was undertaking that travel journey. And when I reached the hotel, I just had some good soup. I ate light. I just took rest. I slept early and maybe watched some TV series and take it easy because you have done your work the right way. You have shown some results which are
Yes.
backing your test day. So be comfortable with it and enjoy. Just enjoy and just go and deliver. Don't do anything out of the blue. Don't do any thing that you have not done before.
Yeah.
Yeah, just make sure that your orders in which you are taking the test are the same uh, as you have done in your mocks, and
Yes.
don't be pressurized. Have some energy drinks with you, and just go for it.
Okay. Okay. And what about the sequence? Did you follow the same sequence that you did in your mocks, and did that help you in any way?
Yeah, I follow the same sequence, and
Hmm.
yeah, it did help me. I went to quant first this time, unlike my last attempt.
Okay.
The last attempt, if I knew that my verbal was not going the way, it impacted my quant as well,
Hmm.
which was my stronghold. So
Yep.
this time I went with my quant first. I
Mhm.
performed there, and next I went for verbal, and it was also okay. Not exactly where I wanted to be, but it was really good because I had that momentum where I knew that success was there with me in quant part. I did deliver to get excellent in verbal as well.
Yes. Yes. So let's talk about the test date, right? So when did you actually take the test, and how did you go about preparing for that particular day? What did you do on the day?
Again, as I mentioned, I booked my test on September 30th, and
Okay.
I reached my hotel the day before. I just
Yes.
had a good nap and had some good soup. And, I just roamed around the city a bit, and I was in bed by 7 p.m. I don't know why I wanted to sleep early. I woke up earlier the next day. I just had my energy drink
Hmm.
and straight away went for that exam, and that was about it.
Yep. So can you give us a little more detail about your exam, right? When you started giving the exam, so you started with quants this time first?
Right.
Yeah.
Right.
So what was the trajectory that you saw during the exam? How were you going about attempting the questions?
Yeah. So as I started my quant, I have faint memory right now. Yeah.
Yeah. It's been a while. Yes.
I'm a while. So again, I was getting the easier questions first in the first section. I was
Mhm.
really pushing forward during that time because I knew this is the time I need to be maintaining. I need to maintain my accuracy as well as
Yes.
my time. I have to be conscious about the time because this is a time again. If I'm not able to solve those easy and medium questions, the hard questions won't appear to me. Uh,
Yes.
for me. And so first up, I was just pushing on my math section and then moving ahead. I was having those difficult questions, and at times I was giving a bit more time to some questions because I had saved up some time before. That's why I was able to do that.
Yes.
And
Yeah.
eventually, I towards the end, I thought some easy questions. I was really troubled. Why does this come up? Because I had been solving all the hard questions, but why is an easy question coming right now? So
Hmm.
I didn't like shake
Let that
off,
affect you.
and I
Yeah.
just went ahead and completed my section. And then about I took my 8 minute break during the verbals. During
Yes.
the and after that, I just used the washroom and I was back attempting my verbal section. And again, I was doing good on my SC and CR part this time. I
Mm-hmm.
did good percentage for my RC segment. Was not what it
Mm-hmm.
used to be during my mocks.
Yep.
I was again feeling that exam pressure thing, I suppose,
Mm.
and it did show on my marks. But overall, again, I didn't guess any time. I was
Yeah.
made sure that I was doing whatever attempts I was making it consciously. And even if I had to guess, I made those guesses towards the end of the test
Hmm.
because when the test had already judged me on my ability to some extent, and uh, this was all fate towards the guess,
Yes.
but
Yep.
major part had been done till the point I had attempted. So this was about the two sections that matter in the GMAT exam.
Yes.
And then IR and AWA were okay for me. I did
Hmm.
in that section. So yeah, I was through the test. Yeah.
Okay. And what about, what was your first reaction when you actually saw the 710 on the screen?
Oh, big sigh of relief. Something
Yes.
happened off my chest because I was preparing for so long for this
Hmm.
exam, and
Yes.
there was many times I took breaks during the
Yep.
preparation. And
Yep.
it was something that was feeling like an unfulfilled journey, and you need to make sure that that there's this push from your end for continuous 2 to 3 months, and
Yes.
you just go ahead and deliver those your desires in the for this test. Okay, because it's always going to be that 2 to 3 month intense journey. Uh,
Yes.
it has to be that way, and while doing so, you need not give up on all your lively things. Do your work properly, go out with your friends, enjoy, and then just be consistent upon your preparations, and it will uh,
Yield
be
you
that.
results. Yes. So, Mohit, now since you have got to your a 710, you've also got an admit, right? So when you look back at your journey, because there are a lot of aspirants who will be looking into this interaction, right? And they would want to know what are the do's and don'ts, right? And since it's been a journey for you, but there have been lots of ups and downs, right? So what are the few things that you really recollect saying that you could have done these things better, or maybe you did it the right way? Right. So, what were the do's and don'ts that come up in your mind right now?
Okay. So, right from the point you start your journey, do
Yes.
maintain an error log
Mm.
for your practice questions that you attempt, or the scholaranium questions that you're going to attempt later
Yep.
via e-GMAT platform. Or via any platform you'll be studying, just maintain your error log. They are going to be a
Yes.
super helpful resource. They'll help you not falter on the things that you frequently falter on. Second, be consistent on your preparation and be in touch with an expert such as ABA or anyone else out
Yeah.
there. Take the support. They have been training a lot of students, and just trust in the process they are recommending, and trust in it and just follow through that. Number three for me would be take help from your it's like okay, just be part of a community where many people are trying to do this journey. It give you a
Mm.
comfort, and we are on the same boat, I'll say,
Yeah.
and we'll also be through on the same boat. So just be there, and yeah, you'll be through it. Yeah.
Yes, great, great, great. So I think it was very well put, Mohit, because yes, you are definitely on the same boat, but now you have surpassed that level. But there'll be a lot of people who are going to write their exam soon, and I think these insights of such as error log or being open to just taking support, right? Don't feel that you are alone in this journey, are something that would really help other people as well. Right. So, thank you, Mohit. Thank you for joining in today and for interacting with us and giving us great insights. Right. I wish you all the best for your ISB journey, which is going to start soon. So good luck on that too.
Yeah. Thank you, Alma. Thanks a lot.